So after seeing where John Lennon was born, if you haven't seen that one yet, click on the link, go and watch that one first, because don't forget we're doing everything in order by the way of the map. Don't forget to download your map if you haven't already. So I promised you somewhere linked to Paul McCartney and James Corden, of course the famous Carpool Karaoke. Also going to see an iconic music hall which is right behind me, with some very, very interesting links. So if you remember, at the end of our first walk we were by the Catholic Cathedral, and now we're going to walk down Hope Street and we're going to head towards our other cathedral, the Anglican Cathedral. So let's take a walk down here. This is the Philharmonic Dining Rooms. Now John Lennon once said the price of fame was not being able to go to the Phil for a drink. This is what he was talking about. This is a magnificent pub as it is now. Well, it's decked out in absolute luxury, and you can actually go into the gents' toilets, doesn't matter if you're male or female, and look at the historically listed gents' marble urinals. And no, I'm not going to take the camera in there, thank you very much. Now this cropped up again not that long ago when Paul McCartney joined James Corden on his Carpool Karaoke, and they did a drive around Liverpool. They went to lots of the famous places, but this is where they ended up for a surprise gig inside the back room here. It's a magnificent place, and the curtains opened and suddenly there was Paul McCartney on stage with his band doing the surprise gig. And lots of people from all over the world, all my Beatles friends, would text me saying, are you there, are you with McCartney? And the answer was no. I was in Dublin. Ironically, I was in Dublin about to get on a cruise ship to tell people all about, come to learn about the Beatles in Liverpool, while one of the Beatles was actually in Liverpool. So I missed out on that one. So that's the Philharmonic Dining Rooms, but we're also going to cross the road now, go and find its sister building, the Royal Philharmonic Hall, which has an incredible Beatles connection. So there's the Philharmonic Dining Rooms, and this is the Liverpool Philharmonic Hall. This has a very interesting history, both modern and slightly older, linked to the Beatles. Probably the most significant one is here on the 20th of March 1958 that Buddy Holly and the Crickets played a gig. Now Buddy Holly has gone down as not just for the Beatles but for all the Merseybeat musicians and probably most of British rock and rollers. Buddy Holly was the biggest influence on their careers. And this is where, say 20th of March 1958, this is where Buddy Holly and Crickets played. And I always wondered why. You think none of the Beatles ever talked about having gone to see him if they were such big fans. So I asked Nigel Walley, one of John Lennon's best friends, I said to Nigel, why didn't you go and see Buddy Holly and the Crickets? He said, we did. He said, John and I went. He said, it's just one of the greatest things ever, and the best nights we ever had was seeing Buddy Holly at the Philharmonic Hall. So he did go. Of course, after seeing Buddy Holly here, John started wearing his glasses. And what a hero. The Crickets inspired the Beatles name. That was down to Stuart Sutcliffe in the main. Seemed to be the consensus. But this was the night, this was the place to see Buddy Holly and the Crickets here. And it seems to be a life-changing event, certainly for all the Beatles. Now one of the more modern links with the Philharmonic Hall has been for Paul McCartney. Very shortly on this walking tour we're going to see Paul's old school, the Liverpool Institute, which he has now turned into the Liverpool Institute for Performing Arts. And for many years this is where the graduation ceremony was held. And yes, every year at graduation Paul McCartney will be there on the stage handing out the certificates. Well done, Paul, good man. So that's our two Philharmonics dealt with. Let's go and find a pub on our next little trip.